Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2. All right, this is a little bit blurry. Okay, so I will need light. Okay. Hello, hello. I am, for the first time, streaming on Zoom and Facebook Live, and it's a little bit of a test. And would love to find out whether I'm actually live. So it says I'm live. It says I'm live. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is see if I can screen share. Ooh, it looks like I can. This is so exciting. Okay, so I'm going to screen share here. Ooh, that is so exciting. Okay, so I just saw my mentor do it the other day, and I was like, how does he do that? So I was like, I'm gonna do it too. So I've been doing daily videos on the coronavirus pandemic, how to stay happy, healthy, and harmonious. And my mother is like, you better put a disclaimer in there. I was like, okay, great idea. I'll put a disclaimer. So the disclaimer is that, first of all, this is not for people who are not holistically minded. So if you're not into the body, mind, spirit connection as it comes, as it pertains to health and wellness, please stop watching. However, if you are open to the body, mind, spirit connection to wellness, then this may be of interest to you. So the disclaimer is we're not talking about a cure or treatment or of coronavirus or any other infection or disease, nor are we talking about, the diminishing the, any pain or suffering that people may be experiencing from this pandemic. And also that whatever I'm going to tell you is more coaching advice. It's not medical advice or psychological professional advice. Okay, so there's the disclaimer. There you go, Mom. Anyway, so I had a great conversation with Source this morning about miracles. I wanted to share that with you today. But before we go into that, I do want to give you a little bit of practical tips as well related to coronavirus pandemic kinds of things, because I've been doing that on these videos. On the one hand, a little bit of practical advice having to do with supporting our wellness, and the other part is more metaphysical advice, which is what I am sharing with you next, which is I'm super excited. So a little bit of the practical advice. So as I was asking Source over the last few months about my weight, the ascension weight, how much, how should I eat, etc., etc. One of the ingredients of becoming more breatharian, which in my vernacular means the ability to pull energy or produce energy or tap into energy directly from a source instead of necessarily requiring the processing of food for energy. Okay, it's very controversial, this whole breatharian thing. Now, I have no intentions of not eating, so I'm not telling people not to eat. Okay, so you have to test yourself, see what works for you. However, I was having this conversation with Source a few months ago, and Source says, oh, well, there's 3 ingredients to becoming more and more breatharian, being able to extract energy directly from the field rather than having to eat lots of food for energy. So I thought, well, this is very interesting. Now, my friend Kathy Homeyer is like 70% breatharian now, at least that's through our testing, which is amazing. And I said, well, what are the 3 ingredients? This is so neat. So Source says, number 1, you need to have the blueprint. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? Well, it's a positive morphic field of already having been breatharian as a human, and it actually exists already in our reality. So other people humans have been able to accomplish this, so that there is a blueprint for that. So one is downloading the blueprint to yourself, which you can do through Topican healing, or if you know some other method, you can download that blueprint for yourself. So not very difficult. The second ingredient is stillness and being in that being state, connected to 0 point. I like to practice something that I call stillness on the fly, which is being able to be still while fully, present and sometimes doing something else. So I know that sounds a little weird, especially if you're new to what I do. However, I'm a very busy person. I love being busy, and I know a lot of people who are busy as well, who are not going to sit there for 60 or 120 minutes a day to meditate. So what do? We meditate on the fly. So I call it stillness on the fly. And that is my way, my doorway into stillness. So Source says, well, to become breatharian, you ideally would be aware of stillness for more percentage of the time during the day. And I'll talk about the percentage in a minute, what's required. The third piece is breathing. So Buteyko breathing is a type of breathing method where, first of all, you breathe almost exclusively through your nose, which I am attempting to do while I talk through my mouth, which is in the past quite challenging for me, but I'm doing better now. So breathing through the nose circulates the air in this area, warms it up. It also makes it more, humidified as it goes into the lungs. And you have a less tendency to overbreathe, which apparently most people do. I did not know that until I read the book and interviewed Patrick McCowan from Ireland about this, who is one of the preeminent teachers of Buteyko breathing. So we tend to overbreathe, and that decreases our carbon dioxide level, which then prevents our oxygen from releasing to our cells. Fascinating, isn't it? So Buteyko breathing is one of the ways in which you can become more breatharian. Now, what does that do with coronavirus, right? So as you know, probably already know that the coronavirus does attach to or enters into our body through the respiratory system. Now, some people have said, well, since it's there and it can last several hours or days there before going into the lungs, hopefully it doesn't go into the lungs because that can harm people potentially. What you can do is gargle, keep things moist and prevent it from going down further. Some people put Vaseline and A&D ointment in their nostrils. I think that's a pretty good idea, actually, to prevent the virus from actually going further down. Buteyko breathing, here's where I get to the point. Buteyko breathing is very helpful because if you are primarily breathing through, and I'm not even talking about training in the actual breathing method, I'm just talking about the very, 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 very beginning part, which is breathe through your nose. If you breathe through your nose and you focus on breathing through your nose, not through your mouth, not only will you get the humidity, not only will it be a little bit more challenging if you believe the virus is virulent, to get into your lungs, you will actually decrease the openings available for any potential infection to get in that is respiratory. Yes, think about how big these holes are. Not that big, right? Compared to, that's pretty big. Now, of course, you can just stop talking altogether. But a lot of people breathe through their mouth. So one of the tips for today, the practical tips, is begin breathing through your nose exclusively. If you have to, where's my tape? No, not on this desk. Anyway, if you have to, you can tape your mouth. And you can do this while you're sleeping. I've done it. It's actually not that bad. And the challenge is people that talk a lot, like me, especially online, breathing through the nose requires consciousness. Breathe through the nose, breathe through the nose. And I noticed that my throat feels much better when I do that. So that's your practical tip for today. Now let's get to the Miracle Quotient. Okay, the Miracle Quotient. So hopefully you can see my little slide that I have today. So how do we manifest more miracles in our lives? Now, what I'm going to show you is not all of, there are many different facets of this, but I've really simplified it down because, first of all, it's easy to do, and second of all, easy to understand. So we're going to put up a little chart here. So let me see if I can. Okay. Let's see. Okay, there we go. We got a line. Okay, so here's our chart. So this is going to be the miracle quotient, like how many miracles we can manifest in our personal lives. Okay, we'll call that the miracle quotient axis. The other axis, we're going to call the percent of waking time in stillness axis. That's kind of a long name. But from past check-ins with Source, a lot of automatic healing starts to occur when we can be aware of pure awareness or stillness or 0 point, however you want to call it, 9 to 10% of our waking time. Now, obviously, when you're sleeping, you're not conscious, right? But we're talking about when you're conscious and awake. If you're connected to 0 point, even while you're talking, call that stillness on the fly. If you're aware of pure awareness, if you're fully embodied in your body, if you're fully being, okay, up to, or past even better, 9 to 10% of the time, that's when automatic healing tends to occur. So the more we are in or connected to or aware of that stillness, when we are awake, the more miracles that we produce. Okay, so again, let me just review. 9 to 10%, most people, it's 9 to 10% of their waking time. Actually, I personally have not tested anyone it's over 10, but anyway, 9 to 10% of the waking time, sometimes 8% if they've done a lot of work, but on a particular thing they want to manifest. If you are aware still, and I'm not talking about, if you think, you think, okay, I'm awake, how long? 8 hours, blah, 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 16 hours. Okay. So 16 hours, that'd be 10% of the time is 1.6 hours. You do not have to do this all in one fell swoop of 1.6 hours of meditating. Besides, most people's minds wander anyway during meditation. So we're not talking about that. We're talking about touch-ins, seconds at a time, seconds at a time, seconds at a time. You're watching movies, touch into stillness. You're reading a book, touch into stillness. You're doing a class, touch into stillness. And so seconds at a time, minutes at a time, as we work towards our 10% of waking time, the miracles increase in our lives. And sometimes we may not notice what it is until you are expecting it. And you're like, I don't know what miracle is going to be, but I know it's going to happen, right? That kind of attitude. Then what happens is that the synchronicities start to occur in your life. The synchronicities are your sign that you are on the right track towards the miracles. Cool or cool? Okay, so is there a way beyond stillness, beyond being in stillness 9-10% of the time, to increase either the speed or the quote unquote amount of miracles that we receive as a human in this 3D world? Apparently the answer is yes. And what is that ingredient? Now, I'm not telling you the whole picture because that's like multiple axes and stuff, but this alone can transform your life. So that's why I'm super excited to share with you. What else? Guess, can you guess? Okay, I'll tell you what it is. It is, and now I did a model previously on another video, showed about your spiritual action. The universe's action is there to mirror you, to reflect back to you so you know who you really are. The spiritual action is the being state, is that intention to go into stillness the way I do it through stone. So stillness through observing internal movement. You can do whatever way works for you, okay? The other action that was required, or ideally, was earthly actions. So what happens is if you are in stillness, what will happen is that you will get inspiration in those gaps where your mind is not, at you. So you'll get that inspiration. The inspiration when you take action, earthly action, based on that inspiration, that's where your miracle quotient can go through the roof. So let's see if I can get that other line going here. There we go. So what it is that the, now you don't really have a plateau per se when you go up. And what you'll notice is when you take the earthly actions, the upward spike, to your next miracle is higher when you take the earthly action. So even if you're in stillness and you do nothing, so you don't take action. Okay, so you say theoretically, you don't take action, you have maybe inspiration that comes in through the stillness, but you're just in stillness. You don't take earthly actions based on what comes in, that guidance that comes in. You will still manifest miracles. You'll still be in that automatic healing state or more of that healing state. However, when you do take earthly actions based on what happens in stillness, based on the guidance, then it kind of shoots up. Your miracles you're manifesting, shoots up to a faster degree and to a greater degree. So that earthly action. So that's what I was in tune to share with you today. Super excited that you're here with me. This is the first time I'm on Zoom live, so I actually can't see people's comments at the moment. I haven't figured out how to do that yet. What I probably could do is move my head here somewhere else on the page. So that's what I have to share with you. So remember that stillness is important. We call that part of your spiritual action. It's not really an action, it's a being, not an action, but just for so it can rhyme, you can remember spiritual action. And then you have your earthly actions. When you combine the two of them, then your miracle quotient goes up. So here's to being with you and being. And it can be actually a lot of fun. So if those of you were like, synchronicities, what are those? What does that mean? Well, it's actually going to be a book that is getting published soon by my friend Tammy Mastroberti. She is the host of the Elevated Existence Telesummit. So watch for that email if you're on my KarenCan.com email list, because we'll let you know when Tammy's book is out on synchronicities. That's going to be super cool. And if you're like, okay, stillness, stoem, I don't know this method, how do I do it? Well, you don't have to do it that way. I think it's whatever way works for you. I just find I'm very clairsentient. I'm very highly sensitive. So feeling my body through the stoem method is the fastest way, easiest way for me to be still, even on the fly, even when I'm doing other things. So what I'll do if you're on Facebook, I'll post that link below where you can access instructions to that stoem technique, as well as on that page, there's actually a link that you can get a free meditation as well through Pure Light Audio. Thank you guys. They're my partners in wellness. And actually there will be coming up sometime, let's see, what day did I say I was going to do it? In May. I'm not really sure which day yet, or I do know, but I haven't got it in front of me. So on Learn It Live, actually asked for some teachers to teach meditation, mindfulness, things like that. And they have healthcare workers, corporate people, entrepreneurs, that are interested. And I thought, well, hey, I could teach that. So we're actually going to be teaching a stoem class. It's going to be a really short class, like 35, maybe 40-minute class on that. So if you're on my mailing list in KarenCan.com, we will let you know when that is happening. And I believe I am allowed to give you a coupon code. So for those on my mailing list anyway. So yeah, so you can just attend live and free on me. Okay, so yeah, so I'd love some comments on what we shared today, whether it was helpful, useful. Please, if you find that you have like-minded people who think would love this, please share it with them as well. I put this on my public page on Facebook so that it can be shared, and I'll connect with you next time. I'm ready to do the next video on this, and unfortunately I can't see comments, but well, maybe I can figure out how to do that part next time. Okay guys, all right, so lots of love to you, and happy nasal breathing and happy miracle manifesting. Let's increase our miracle quotient. Woo, 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 woo. Okay, have a great night. Bye.